Okay, so I was so happy to look at all of you posing with your best smiles. I saw how because I have to be here to share with you for the sake of the kabataan ng sambayan ng Pilipinas. I may be too naive, I may be too idealistic, but until we have people who are really so devoted to young children, we're talking of millions of young children. When you say kabataang Pilipino, they are in the DepEd schools. Okay, we have already played, right? Okay, will you think about what possible skills were tapped in that simple game? Listening. Children, raise your hand. Right. Okay, so listening skills, following instructions, what else? Psychomotor skills, responding, no? Ano pa? Alertness, yung response, no? Also, control. Control. You know, children, it was mentioned, I have a small school for the last 15 years. You're looking at the kid. Sabi ng teacher, give an example of a word that starts with I, the short I sound. Isda, English yun eh. So, igloo, Indian, tawanan mga kaklase, katulad nyo, kayo talaga. Nagtawanan kayo agad. Nagtawanan mga kaklase. Now, the teacher, of course, acknowledged, dahil tama naman, pareho ang tunog. Hindi yan katulad ng A. At saka magkaiba, no? Short A in English and A ng Filipino. Magkaibang tunog yon. Pero yung pareho. So, when you play games like this, it develops control. That's why you play yung mga statue dance, stop dance, that teaches children. Kasi physical yun hindi lang mind. Na kaya niyang mag-stop at hindi gagalaw. That is the rationale for that game. We think that they're just playing, but if the teacher has the foundation of child development and learning, the teacher will be able to explain. No? Ma'am, laro lang pala sila ng laro rito eh. No? Ano ba yan? Di sila nagbabasa, naglalaro lang sila. No? But if you know the background, and that is what we hope to have today, foundations, no? Then we will be able to become more intentional. Why are we playing that game? You will have a purpose for every activity that the child does inside the classroom. And this is what we want to really emphasize to the teachers. No? So obviously, my topic is developmentally appropriate practice. Why did I make you play a game? Because Thorndike said so. Who is Thorndike? He is a psychologist from the last century. And he says one of the law of learning is the law of, which one did I apply? Readiness. Very good. Because it is for the children. Huh? It is for the children. And they are our learners. No? Pero kapag hindi maayos o hindi na ibibigay ang pinaka magandang pamamaraan ng pagtuturo at ng pagkatuto, ang ibang mga bata pagdating ng high school, ganito ang definition nila. Studying is the student dying. Studying. That's why I don't like studying. No? Yan. So, papaano nagkaroon ng ganitong kamalayan ang teenager? May pinagmulan nyo. No? And we say that the early childhood years, 0 to 8, those are the foundational years. No? Hindi lang yan sinasabi ng mga in love sa early childhood education. Katulad ko. Yaan ay may basihan sa research. No? You look at, was done in Australia, just to show you. No? This is the one below 0, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. So this is the preschool and the primary years. That corresponds to the early childhood years, 0 to before 8. No? And you will see the sensitivity. Ibig sabihin, saan sila ready ma-stimulate ang kanilang development. No? So these are the sensitive periods in the early brain development. Pag pinanganak ang baby, marami na siyang brain cells. In fact, mas marami kesa sa atin. Okay? The baby has more brain cells than us. No? But the only difference is these brain cells need to be interconnected. Now, as to how they are interconnected is based on the years and years of experiences and instruction that we got. Right? And now we are on the other side. We are the ones who have the responsibility and the power to affect the education of young children. So, we're not only teachers. We're engineers. Brain engineers. And if you look at brain research, you will see that I'm not talking rhetorically. It's really literal because the experiences that the children will have in the preschool years and in the school years will determine what sort of stimulation for vision. You see, high sensitivity and hearing, 0, pababa na, no? Pagpalampas na ng grade 3. No? Ways of responding, emotional control, language, yan, medyo hanggang school years. You have had discussion on that. Symbols, related to also to math skills, peer and social skills, okay, and numbers. Okay. So you see that the most sensitive periods are in the early years, actually 0 to 5, ano? And then it goes on to the primary years. So that is very, very crucial. How well a child will communicate, how confident a child will be, how secure a child will be. This is very, very important. The crucial years are those years. That is why it is very, very important that we learn the nitty-gritty of early childhood ed. Because everything matters in this very sensitive period. And we have millions of them to take care of. No? Yan. Okay? So there is a need for transformation. No? Lahat naman. Kahit ako, I'm still learning. Because if you make a difference there, you contribute to their roots and their wings. No? That is how beautiful it is if we will be given that opportunity to really affect the lives of young children. No? Makikita mong batang Pinoy, confident. Hindi siya nangingimi. Mabait siyang tao. No? Dahil sa maliliit na bagay na ginawa natin. Okay? Pero sa maliliit din na bagay na pinalalampas natin, we can create monsters. Right? And therefore, it is very important that we also transform. No? So what is the direction of the transformation? No? Yan, baka ganito. Tao na nga, naging monster pa. No? Or, ganito, nagiging transformer, powerful. They realized the power inside him. And he was a good friend, faithful and loyal, right? No? So that is the sort of transformation. Or maybe this block turning into something that is emerging. No? A child is emerging. And it can come out to be like a masterpiece, like the thinker. No? Sabi ni Rodin, I choose a block of marble and chop off whatever I don't need. So, yung concept ng transformation, no? Chisel off to show the beauty. No? And that is what? Development. Do we know the etymology of the word development? No? We make children develop, learn and develop. No? That's why my school, I did not call it as learning center. I call it Center for Development and Learning. No? Why? Because development came from the word develop. You unveil. Development is unveiling what God meant the child to be. Hindi natin gagawing mummified yung bata kung ano-anong ilalagay natin. No? We unveil. We show, we make the potential emerge and come out. It's unveiling the beauty that God meant for the child to show, to have. No? And that is really the transformation. But for that to happen, more often, we need to change things in the way we see things. I think Yusek Dina was already saying it, transformation, right? No? From audience to trainer. She said that. No? So, we need to shift our paradigm. No? That's why I asked, ilan yung nasa secondary ed, ilan, no? Kasi ako din, I shifted paradigm. So there, as we go and develop, we shift paradigms. We shift our view of things. No? And when we do that, transformation happens. Why was there transformation? Because there was a change. There was realization, sir. Right. And that is the way to change. To effect change and transformation. It all starts here. No? So today, be mindful of the paradigm shifts that you will possibly have to do. No? Beginning with how important early childhood education. I applied also for Fulbright. Parang naisip rin nila, early childhood education. Of course, I know agriculture is also important. Pero hindi ko nakita talaga na how important. Kailangan talaga ng advocacy pa. No? Na pag lumaki sila, wala na eh. Nalampasan na natin yung sensitive periods. So there is really advocacy. We need to shift our paradigm along that line. No? And there were grand paradigm shifts, di ba? Oh, sino tong nasa kaliwa? Yan, Earth ang nasa gitna. Sabi niya, araw. Yan. No? So grand paradigm shift yan. No? Yan. Yan. Asim another way, I was in Cagayan de Oro for 3 days last week. What if you are going to Cagayan de Oro, but the map given to you was Cagayan Valley? Dahil kahit gaano tayo kasigasig, hindi natin mararating ang pupuntahan kung mali ang mapa. No? And Yusek was also saying that we have to have programs. We have to have frameworks, no? For that to happen. So we need to shift. No? It's not just being positive, eh. It's really knowing the direction. No? So it's having the wrong map. So ito, katulad niyan. Which? Old? 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 Agree? Old? And young. If we are looking at the old woman, this is her nose. This is her mouth. This is her chin. Okay. So if looking at the young woman, this is her chin. Chin. Yes. This is her neck. Okay. Did you see both? Yes. Dito nakita ko, sabi niya, ay, oo nga. You experience a paradigm shift. Na? Yan. Okay? Did you see that? Yes. Okay. So, bakit mas madali yung na-solve yun? Kasi naisip nyo na, oh, I have to open my mind. Right? Yes. So that makes it easier if we have an open mind. So the second time around was easier. Okay? Tama na ang laro. So it's very important that we are aware of our own assumptions. Ano nga bang tingin ko sa early childhood education? Ano bang tingin ko sa relevance ng K to 3? No? At anong tingin ko sa role ko pagkatapos nitong 11 days? These are things that we should look into so that we can respond appropriately when we go back home. No? So, yan. This is also from Stephen Covey. You're familiar with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the 3-person teaching. No? So during the 3 days, I was listening to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was really listening. I was really taking down notes. I was really thinking how I will explain it. Why? Because I knew I will be teaching it. No? And until now, I am a 7 Habits believer. I apply it in my life. No? Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. You remember these beautiful guidelines in life. No? And this came from there. 3-person teaching. No? Sabi, pag ikaw nakikinig, isipin mo na ituturo mo yan. No? So I remember it. I can discuss it here. It's here because I really listened so well. And it has changed my life tremendously, the way I relate with people. Because I really listened. I really learned because I knew I would teach it. Would you imagine the change in your lives? You come out being a strong advocate of young children. Maybe you already are, but you become even a stronger advocate. Is that beautiful? There's hope for our country if that happens. You meet people, you train them, you infect them with the same love for young children, there is greater hope, no, for our country's children. We have to make teachers aware of this thing. No? So, caring community, you'll have the PowerPoint. I don't need to do it one by one. But you will see there, hindi lang sa bata, lahat. Lahat. Nagre-respetuhan ng teacher, ang supervisor, ang superintendent, kapwa teacher. So it is a community of learners. We are all learners, not just the children. Okay? Teaching and learning through active exploration. Ang isa dyan, isang seminar na yan no? How do you do active exploration, sensory experience, trial and error, no? Huwag mo nang sabihin na red plus yellow equals orange. Again, children, red plus, tatandaan nyo yan, ulit nga, children. That is so traditional, right? Why don't you just give them red, yellow? Let them anong tawag dyan? Sensory play. Mamaya didiscuss natin sa play yan. Sabihin sa'yo, teacher, magic. Oo, kasi pag ginanon niya, teacher, wala naman akong orange, nagka-orange. Ganun pala yun, teacher, pag red tsaka yellow, pag naghalo, magiging orange. Teacher, red-orange, kasi mas maraming red nilagay ko. Ay, ang galing. Yan, you say. And that is forever the discovery of the child. Who discovered orange? I did. Back in preschool. No? Ganon. Diba? So, kailangan natin matutunan yon. How do we give activities that would really lead children to explore and discover? Naku, malalim na aralan yan. No? I mean, I fell in love with early childhood education in 1997. So it's 2014. So it's dedicating quite a number of years. You don't just become an expert right away. I'm not an expert. I'm still learning. Okay, curriculum. There's a framework which we have. We follow the framework so that we are guided. All of that. Okay? Yan. This is an example of intentionality. This is an example of how we can really do an activity, no? Pag nag-field trip, ilan ang pupuntahan pag nag-field trip? Ang dami. Pero kaya siya field trip kasi may matututunan sila sa field, no? I always say, field trip should be intentionally connected to the curriculum. If they are learning about animals, that's the time for them to go to the zoo. Will they go to the gardenia factory of bread? No. Why will they go? They're learning about animals. You don't cook the dogs to become bread. Although there's hot dog for the bread. Hindi, di ba? No? So when you say field trip, it should be intentional. So when we do a field trip, and Manila Zoo is also our neighbor. It's right beside us. Okay? So, you talk to them. What do you think will we see in the zoo? They are making what? Predictions. Right? Intentional. Is there an expert there? Let that expert discuss to the children. So we were able to get the vet to discuss with the children. Re-request lang naman yun no? As long as we have the planning. Okay? And then you see, following the map they made prior to the trip. Because the teacher went to the zoo first and discovered how she can make a map. And then she asked the children, who has gone to the zoo? When we enter, what's the first thing we see? The elephant, the famous elephant, right? There. Okay? So they tried to imagine. Are there skills involved there? Of course, directions, right, left, memory. Teacher, I know there's an elephant. And then if you go straight, you'll see the snakes. Right? And they made the map. No? And when they went there, they verified the map. They verified it. Kung tama yung pagkakagawa nila ng map. Is there math there? There is. No? Is there geography, whatever, right, left, no? All of those skills, whatever, they are there. And it is a simple field trip. Yan. And then see, when they work when they play back in school, they try to represent what they learned from the trip. Okay? Kaya sinasabi ko, fascinating yung grade 1. Kasi kung ikaw rin naman ang teacher nun, makakagawa ka ng activity na mag-i-integrate yan. You can actually do it. In a field trip, you touch AP, you touch science, you touch math, no? My 2 daughters go to Saints Co. They will have a field trip next Thursday. They always have a booklet, no? They had the field trip in Fort Vegan. They had a field trip in Vegan. First, sabi kasi sa amin, bigyan nyo ng tig-200 pesos. Alam nyo kung bakit? Ko-compute nila eh. Anong mga binili nila? Magkanong natira? Math. Right? No? And then, they will map out the places in a map. Okay? And then, they will draw their favorite thing they saw. What's that? Art. You get it? That is integration. That is developmentally appropriate. No? Because you make the child construct knowledge holistically, not compartmentalize. Nag-recess lang, iba na pinag-uusapan. Di ba? Oh, ganun eh. 0 to 8 pa yan eh. No? Oh, grade 4, kaya na nila yung switch ng switch. But 0 to 8, if there are chances for integration, let's do it. Okay? Yan. After the trip, the pupils were asked to draw their favorite animal. Yan. Sample. And then, oral language, they talk about what they saw. See, it's really coming from the child. Hindi natin sinasabi kung ano sasabihin. They talk about their work. Is there socio-emotional there? Confidence. They're not afraid because they're talking about something they know, something they drew. And they look at the toys and they studied alin ang sinususian, di baterya, what's that? Science. No? And then they also try to remember, was it on top of the shelf, below, Okay? So that's how they learn that concept. So now they have an activity doing that. Okay? Aha. Okay? And then, the last, meron pang parent. Assessment is ongoing. There is a thin line between teaching and assessing. No? Kasi habang nagtuturo tayo, nakikita na rin natin ang pag-unawa ng mga bata. Mahalaga sa teacher ng 0 to 8-year-old ang magsulat at mag-record ng observations. That's a whole new training. You know, when you plan what the needs are, maybe this is one. Kasi di ba ang assessment nila may checklist? How do they do the checklist? They should be very good in observing the development of children. At hindi yung ngayon ako mag-o-observe. Every time you're with the children, you're able to observe their skills. Okay? So this is relationship with the parents. Welcome them. No, I observed in a public school in Manila. Wow, the parents are really so helpful. Ano na eh, automatic, no? Pagtas ng isang kindergarten, nagwawalis, mga parent volunteers, galing. But sometimes they're overzealous. Ganto, sila yung kabang-kaba. Dahil hindi makaya ng bata. Nakapila ba naman yung mga bata doon sa parent volunteer? Yan, maganda na. Siya gumagawa. Sabi ko, ay mommy, let the child do. No? Tapos nagdidikit. Pagbalik ko, inaayos. Ay mommy, wag kasi work niya yan. Kasi pag inayos mo yun, ay hindi ako marunong mag-taste. Right? Yeah, I mean, it's approximating the skill. Later on, oy, pantay na teacher. No? Give the child a chance. Okay? So, you let the parents help, but they also need to be trained. Na? Oriented. Okay? So, you make, ito, summary na yan. Age appropriate, that's the summary. When you say DAP, tatlo yan. Age appropriate, right for the age. Individually appropriate. Bakit? 3-year-old pero advanced. Right? What else? Their interest. Their multiple intelligences. All of these are part of individual appropriateness. And the last is, of course, social and cultural appropriateness. Bakit magluluto ng chiffon cake kung baker? Eh, ang alam nila doon eh pandesal at puto bongbong. So, use that to contextualize it, no, to something they are familiar with. So that is the summary of DAP. Age appropriate, individually appropriate, and socio-cultural appropriate.